Hi everyone, Tracy here, and I'm going to do a quick video. Oh, I should never say that. I should never ever start a video by saying I'm going to do a quick video. So scrap that. Take two. Hi everyone, Tracy here, and I'm going to do a probably long video about my paper storage. I spent an entire day sorting this paper, and it's all in place and it's all pretty, and so I thought, boy, quick, get a video camera and capture this while my paper is nice and organized, because it doesn't stay this way for very long. Maybe it will this time. Well, I'm trying to put in place some measures that will help. Look at this. This is so cute. I bought this in Toronto at a cute little store. Actually, I think I bought it in Montreal, in this really cute little store. And it's a hanger, and I'm going to hang my aprons from it. I'm going to put it right here and hang aprons from it. And it's red, and my room is mostly yellow and turquoise. It's not really a matched room. Like, I don't have, it's a basement, so it doesn't really have a color scheme or anything. But if it did have a color scheme, it would be yellow and like turquoise, like those two colors right there. I love hits of red in a yellow and turquoise color scheme. So of course I have my YouTube play button over there, and my daughter made me a red dream catcher when she was away with her grandparents, and red is my favorite color, so she had no idea that at the same time I was making a play button for my closet door. And so she came home and gave me the dream catcher, and I was like, oh, I love it. Not only is it my favorite color, but I know exactly where I'm going to put it. I also got this cool new doorknob in Montreal at the same store that I got that cool hanger that I'm going to hang my aprons on. So isn't that cool? I really like that doorknob. And there's my play button. I don't know if you guys saw it. It's been on, I think I posted on Instagram or Facebook or something, and I purposely made it kind of like messy, like I painted it like that, so that, sound effects, I know, so that it would look modeled and stuff. I don't know if I love it. It looks nice from a distance, and cool and stuff. I didn't want it to be like, if I tried to make it look too smooth, then you'd see brush marks and stuff, so I just went with it. I might put another coat on just to make it look a little bit less splotchy, but I kind of like it splotchy. The jury's still out on that one. Anyhow, this area is mostly the way that it always has been. There have been a few small changes, like I moved my die cut machine over here to be with so that all of my dies are together for the most part. And my Project Life stuff is still right there. I recently did a video where I show you how I have sorted my Project Life cards by color and used the Becky Higgins trays for them, and so that's where they live. And now today I'm going to put you in the tripod so that I can tell you about these cubes right here. So this cube is where I keep my collections by manufacturer. So like I store my paper by collection, I guess. And here's more collections. And then here I have kind of categories that I'll tell you about in a second. And then I have my other paper sorted by color. So these are all the colors right here, all these tabs. And then more pattern paper down here. This is sort of just like older paper, like Amy Tangerine's First Line and Sassafras, and old Basic Gray collections and miscellaneous Basic Gray. Then I have some art paper and some Stampin' Up collections right here. And then this is where I'm going to put my recent buys. You see that right there? I don't have any right now because, well, I have a lot of recent buys, but they're all put away. And then finally, I sorted my cardstock by color. This cardstock is mostly stuff that I haven't bought specifically. It came in kits. And so I had a huge mishmash every month. When you belong to a kit club, like I seem to recall that Studio Calico in particular used to send a whole lot of cardstock. I think I would get 6 or 7 pieces of cardstock every month if I bought a main kit and an add-on, and sometimes I was buying 2 add-ons. Sometimes I'd even buy like extra paper and stuff. So I had a ton, and then with Scraptastic I would get 6 pieces of cardstock every single month. And they're just like random colors that match that month's kit, but I was never using them. So as a result, I have a huge assortment of beautifully colored cardstock, and it looks so much nicer when it's all sorted, and it's so much easier to use and access the colors that you need. So I have that, and then I have more cardstock and like neutrals, white and warm neutrals and cool neutrals. And then I have like textured and specialty paper here, Stampin' Up paper, Stampin' Up paper. This is Michael's really cheap cardstock that I use if I have a non-scrapbooking project to work on, usually with the kids or something. And then some empty bags and one kit here. I dekitted everything except for the iron collection. And I'll show you all these things in a second. I have to put you on the tripod so that it's more pleasant for you and I. I've always stored my paper, not always, but ever since I've had enough paper to have storage issues, I have sorted my paper using these little tabs, which I make from the rounded tab punch from Stampin' Up. And I just put them on the bottom parts and I store my paper vertically. And what I do every time that I get a collection, let me just grab a collection for you, one that isn't attached. Let's see. So here we go. I'm going to tell you about the plastic and the folders in just a second, but when you buy a collection pack, you get this, it comes with this page that gives you an idea of what's in the package before you buy it. And so what I do is I take my Stampin' Up rounded tab, there it is, punch, and I just punch out a piece of that paper, and then I take a piece of, I don't want to lose my place here, I take a piece of chipboard from my collection of chipboard, which I have from kit clubs. I always hang on to the chipboard pieces that your products, that your boxes come with. And I glue this piece of paper, to the chipboard, and then I staple this on, and then I reinforce it with, I glue it on, and then I reinforce it with a staple. And I just write the collection on it, so I'm not entirely sure that you can see that, but it says Summer Daydream Photo Play. So I put the collection name and the manufacturer on this, and then I file it away like that. And then what I was finding was that when I go to pull, first of all, these are deeper than a piece of paper, so you see how I can push them in like that, and then they're all lost, and some of them would get pushed in and some of them would be pulled out, and I'd go to find a collection and this would not happen. Like, I wouldn't get all of the collection. I would get like a couple of pieces of it, and then I'd have to be like, where does it end? And maybe the next tab would be pushed in too far, so I wouldn't be able to find it. And it wasn't all that inconvenient, but it was something that was kind of getting in the way of me grabbing things quickly. And when I'm looking for a certain piece of paper, I want to be able to get my hands on it quickly. So I felt like I needed a folder of some type. So I had a couple of options. I was already using these folders right, where are they? Where are they? Okay, so I use one right here. So I was already using these folders from Cropper Hopper. I bought one Cropper Hopper kit that had like a magazine holder and then 3 of these and some dividers, and it's all like this frosted plastic stuff. And I really like this for vertical storage. I like storing it like this so that you can pull things out without taking this out of the pouch, instead of putting it like this, like a magazine holder. Anyhow, I really enjoy storing my paper like this, but these are a set size and width, and they tend to take up a lot of space on my shelf, especially if I were just putting one collection in each or one category in each. So this was not going to meet my needs, and it would be way too expensive. I don't want to buy all of these. These are they're not cheap. So I knew that it wouldn't be the Cropper Hopper, but I wanted something like it. Like, I liked how it was all enclosed, so that when I pulled it out, it's enclosed back here so all the pieces come at once, but it's also enclosed here so that as I pull it out, if there are any scraps, I occasionally will put scraps in with my collections. They were always like falling right down on the floor as soon as I pulled it out a certain amount, and so I liked the encasement of this Cropper Hopper thing. So that was an option, but it wasn't going to work for me because of cost and space. Then I thought about putting them in Ziploc bags and just putting them on their sides. But the Ziploc bags really didn't look all that nice. and like to have a bunch of Ziplocs right here just wouldn't, like, it didn't look very nice. Then another thing that I had thought of was putting the collections like I do with my Stampin' Up collections. So I have my Stampin' Up collections. I don't buy much Stampin' Up paper, and I think I talk about this in a video. I feel like I'm saying the same thing that I've already said, but it was a couple of days ago. So anyhow, this is a Stampin' Up collection that I just have it stored in a page protector like this. And so this is a great option because everything is in there. It's enclosed on the bottom and it's enclosed on the back, and then you can just like pull it out when you want to use it and you get it all. But most collections are bigger than the Stampin' Up collections, and they're not going to fit in there, and I don't have the option of putting like the chipboard that goes with it or whatever the case might be. So what I came up with is this really cool idea. I think it's cool. It really works well for me. Where, let me see, this one is, of course I'm picking like the most complicated example to show you. So let me pick a simple example. So here I have Amy Tangerine, Yes Please. You'll notice when I pull it out, the whole thing comes with me. And it's in a Ziploc bag. It's enclosed on this side and it's enclosed on this side, but I've run a slit. I've put a slit in the top so that it's actually not attached. It can completely open up. And I've cut the Ziploc off of it, and I stapled it right here. And I'm pretty sure that I made a video that shows you how I make these. You'll see that for this particular one, I also have like an extra piece of chipboard, and there's a piece of paper that runs the back of it. I'm going to show you why that is, because I did it another way first before I switched to this way, and I left some of my collection sorted that way, that other way that I'm going to show you in a few minutes. So I'm not sure if that's making any sense. Anyhow, all of my collections now are enclosed in plastic, and I love it. I really love it so far. It's going to be interesting to see how it stands the test of time, like whether I get annoyed with the plastic or if it gets like too messy looking or whatever. But for now it's all new and I just made it, so it's all looking really great. And I'll let you guys know if, like, you know, how it goes and that sort of thing. There were a couple of collections that I combined just because I was running out of Ziploc bags. So I took the Everyday Eclectic and the Capture Life collections, and I put them together because they're both Alison Craft and they both have similar, not exactly the same, but a similar color scheme. So I thought it made sense to put those together. And then another one that I combined was, and so when I put that in, this is just a good example of why I like this system. When I put that in, it pushed the one beside it back, but I can easily pull it out and the whole collection comes in line and stays like lined up. I also pushed this one back when I put that one in. So yeah, it's working really well so far. And these are so, like, if these get beat up and worn and torn, I can just replace them because they're just punched with a punch that I have. So it's perfect. I love it. So the other thing that I combined was I combined Shoreline from American Crafts and Sunshine Mini Theme from Echo Park and Summer Days from Photoplay. And I also stuck in a couple of pieces of Scraptastic paper that I thought really go with the Shoreline collection. And the reason I did that is that these are the collections that have bright summery colors. The first two are very water beach themed, and then the other one has a lot of beach summer vacation flip-floppy type of icons and designs in it. So they seem to be the kinds of things that I would pull for all at once. So, and that's based on my own scrapbooking. I was finding that every time I pulled out Shoreline to use, I also pulled out the Sunshine Mini Theme. And so I thought, if I'm always pulling them out together, I'm going to put them in the same folder. It makes good sense. And then I decided to put this one in there too because it's so similar that I'm pretty sure, even though it's new, I haven't used it yet, I'm pretty sure I'll be pulling for that at the same time as the other two as well. So, here I have my tabs. I have Amy Tangerine, Yes Please, Dear Lizzie Lucky Charm, Fifth and Frolic from Dear Lizzie, Crepe Paper on Trend. I have Maggie Holmes, her original collection. I have Creative Agenda. I have those two that I told you from Allison Craft. And so I have all of my collections here. It's not really sorted by manufacturer. It's just because I don't buy enough collections to have like a section that's just Echo Park or whatever. It's just all mixed up. I did put these two Dear Lizzie collections together, and I put Crepe Paper on Trend beside Maggie Holmes because they have similar color schemes. So I kind of thought, as I was putting them in, I thought about how I scrapbook and how I'd like to order them. I made one folder that is just for 12 by 12 sticker sheets. So I find these difficult to sort. They look like this. I've got some sassafras ones, and I've also got some other ones. So I put them in there because they're hard to store. Hopefully I'll remember I have them. And now this is a huge chunk that doesn't have a plastic bag around it because I will never ever ever put scraps in this one. So it doesn't need to have a bottom because when I pull it out, I'm pulling it all out. It's not going to fall out. So this is how I have this sort of thing stored. Instead of in plastic, it's just in this homemade folder, and I'll show you how I made it just by, I'll just show you what it is. So I'm going to take out the paper. This is all of my Studio Calico paper. I bought a whole bunch of their collections, the Classic Calico, I bought Abroad, and something else. I think there were two Classic Calicos. And Memoir. I thought that they made a really nice base paper. Like, they're really nice neutral papers that can mix and match with other papers easily. And I just thought that as I was building my stash, I really wanted to have like some really versatile papers is what I'm trying to say. Not very effectively. So those are the papers that are in this one. And I just made this folder. It looks like this. So it is two pieces. I'm going to step back so that you can see it a bit better. It is two pieces of 12 by 12 chipboard with the little tab on it. And it's connected by an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. It's just a scrap paper. Just disregard what's on it. It's just from a free printable or something. And I ran my score board. I scored it so that it's kind of like a file folder is scored, the length, so that it could be any width up to a certain point. And then I just put my papers inside of it like this. And it works really well so far. So that is my Studio Calico chunk of paper. It's funny, I have more Studio Calico than anything else. There's also Studio Calico Kit Club papers in there, like the exclusive papers from when I used to belong to their kit. I did that same thing with another section, which is my wood grain and ledger paper section. And so I keep wood grain and ledger paper separate because they make really amazing backgrounds. I also have some map paper in here, but it's mostly different types of grid and ledger and notebook paper first, and then eventually it switches over to wood grain paper. Because I tend to look for a wood grain as I'm scrapping. I tend to think. And then I have this collection, Simple Stories Basics, Snap Basics, and they are ledger papers on one side and wood grain on the other. These were like totally made for me. So I just put those at the back because you can't categorize them because they have both. So that's that section. See, these are working really well. Doing this video is a good test. So then the paper that I have that I no longer keep in collection format. So I keep a paper in collection format until I feel like I'm never going to reach for that collection again. So one of my oldest collections that I have is Crepe Paper on Trend. I have a couple of older ones down there that I'm still keeping in collections, but generally speaking, once I've used something enough, like I'm really close to getting rid of Maggie Holmes' crepe paper, her original, because there's only like maybe 4 pieces of paper left in here. And so at some point I'm just going to say, okay, that's it, I'm never going to reach for that again. And then it'll go into my, it'll go over here. So when a collection first comes into my scrap room, it gets its own little category made, and I will be making folders for it. And then, or if I just buy an individual paper, it goes right into the color sorted parts. Then when I'm finished with it being in a collection, then I'll sort it by color. And I just pick people ask me this all the time, how do you sort by color? How do you know, do you sort by the A page or the B page? I just pick my favorite page. If I think I'm going to use it, I will sort by that color. And I usually sort by dominant colors, so they're not necessarily like this red tab here. There's going to be a lot of only red pages, but there's also going to be pages that aren't just red, but they're heavy red, like red dominant, okay? So they go like beiges and blacks and grays, and then red, and the yellow, orange, green, blue, pink, purple, and multicolored is right here. These I have made these plastic folders for. And so this is what the plastic folder looks like for most of my collections. It's a piece of chipboard with a plastic folder around it. So I'm going to show you how I made these. I'll insert that video right around here so that you can see how I made these folders. And this is a good example actually of a paper that was recently sorted. So this is from the Atwell collection, which I was keeping by collection for a while, but I've used it quite a lot. And I feel like I'm probably never going to reach for the Atwell collection again. So I went ahead and sorted it by color, and all of the paper is now amongst these tabs right here. So I'm just going to show you the process of how I'm organizing my paper, because I've been spending the past several times I've been in my scrap room, I've been updating how I store my paper, so I didn't have to do it all at once. But today I'm spending a significant chunk of time just getting it all finished off. And so this is how I've been storing my paper for many, many years. I store it vertically like this in a cube, and I've done videos about it before, and I'm also going to show you guys the finished product when I'm finished today. But the way that I've been storing it is like this with these dividers, and so I will show you what one chunk of this looks like. So these are all my green pattern papers from various manufacturers. They're all together. When I separate out a collection, when I'm finished using it as a collection, it just goes into my general stash. This is where it goes. And then I just have a square piece of chipboard that I have punched a piece of scrap green paper to make my green tab, and then that is how I have them organized and divided on my shelf. So I know if I want blue paper, I grab this bunch, and for the most part these are full 12 by 12 sheets. Every once in a while there's a sheet that isn't quite 12 by 12, like it might have an inch missing from it or something, but these are generally large full 12 by 12 sheets. So what I've been doing is changing this, because I like the way this works for me, except that these tabs sometimes get lost because the shelf that I keep these on is a little bit deeper, and so some of these will be sticking out like this and others will be kind of missing, and I won't be able. The other thing is that when I grab a collection, I sometimes just grab the tab and all the papers stay here, and it's just hard for me to grab a whole section of paper at once to pull it out and flip through it. So I wanted to do some type of folders. This is my preferred method because it's cheap, it's easy. I already have these tabs on from the last time that I reorganized my paper, so I already have it halfway done. It's cheap, it's easy, it's accessible, and yeah, it seems to be working really well so far for the ones that I've done. So for this one, I take a dollar store zipper seal bag. I get the 13 by 15.6 inch bags. You could use a non-zipper bag, and if you could find a bag that is the right size, then it would be even easier. If you didn't have a zipper bag, and if you were able to find a bag that already is 13 by 13 or 12.5. So because green is pretty thick, I'm going to make this be 13 by 13. So I'm going to cut it right here at the 13 mark, and my grid mat comes in really handy. It doesn't have to be perfect, so it's a little wobbly, but that's all right. So I just cut off the excess, and then I put a slit along the side, like the top, which is actually one of the sides when you hold the bag upright. So now I have a two-sided sleeve that I can stick my whole green section of papers into. It's a little bit staticky, but once you get them in there, they stay in quite well. So there we go. My papers are inside. This is what it looks like on the back. This is what it looks like on the front. And now, just so that it all comes out together, I'm going to slip my little stapler in here and just staple it right there. Plain and simple, little staple right there. See it? And now when this is on my shelf and I want to pull out my green paper, I just give it a tug and the whole thing comes out. And I will show you this in action on my shelf in a little while. So this is the process. So this next cubby is all Stampin' Up paper. It's all multicolored. I buy most of my Stampin' Up. I haven't bought Stampin' Up paper in a very long time. But what I used to do was when their in colors come out, if I like them, I will buy 1 or 2 packs of their cardstock to work with it. And I usually use Stampin' Up cardstock for cards, and so since I don't make cards all that often, I have plenty of it left from when I used to buy lots of it, so I haven't bought any for a very long time. So I have a couple of collection packs, like I have the Brights, I have a couple of in-color collection packs, and then I have some of my favorite colors, like this is Cherry Cobbler Red, which I like for Christmas cards, and I have Daffodil Delight, which I love for summer and spring and birthday cards. I have black and I have brown. I think that's espresso, early espresso. I have vanilla, and I actually have a whole package of Stampin' Up glossy paper, which is good for mixed media and like stamping techniques, but I don't do those things anymore. And then I have a thing of Whisper White. Right next door to it, right here, I have Stampin' Up cardstock. And so here's my 12 by 12 Stampin' Up cardstock. I just put it in one of these Cropper Hopper folders that I showed you already. And it's basically just, I haven't bought 12 by 12 Stampin' Up cardstock since I was a demo, so this would have been what I got when I got my demo pack. So that's all that I have of that. But one thing that I do love that Stampin' Up makes, although I don't use it anymore because I'm not a demo, so I don't do a whole lot of Stampin' Up cards, but I really used to love these tone-on-tone paper pads that they used to make. I don't know if they still make them. What are they called? Designer Series Paper Pattern Stack. And so it just takes all of the colors from the cardstock and makes this like tone-on-tone coordinating paper that picks up in the colors in the cardstock, and I really love those. I really like the idea of Stampin' Up. I like how the inks and the cardstock and the pattern papers all coordinate. It's easy to match colors and have like your ribbon be exactly the same color as your stamping. I like that, but I don't do it anymore, so I'm not really investing in that kind of product anymore. So here I have 3 of those Cropper Hopper folders, and they hold 3 different types of products. In this one, I keep my specialty papers. So Fancy Pants makes these corrugated cardstock papers. Can you even see that? I don't know if you can see that. Let me raise you up a little bit. Is that a better view? I think it is. There we go. So Fancy Pants makes these corrugated cardstock, and I like them a lot, so I have those. I have some washi paper and some foiled paper. That's about it. And then here I have texture paper. I have some balsa wood paper. I have some POW glitter paper and just some other specialty denim and glitter paper that's patterned and some canvas and stuff. And then here I have, this is cardstock that I got from the Studio Calico card kit club when I belonged to that for a short time. And then I have, I think this is Nina Solar White and Copic Express paper. This is Copic coloring paper, so I don't want that to get mixed up in my other cardstock over here because I don't want to accidentally use it for non-Copic. So where am I at? This one. This is my neutral cardstock, and I keep blacks and grays in here, warm neutrals in here, so these are all grays and craft, and then I keep my white cardstock here. And I was out of white cardstock until I sorted this and ended up with this much hidden white cardstock that was hidden amongst these. So I'm glad I did that. I'm going to get a little bit more time before I have to place an order of white cardstock. So, and I'm just keeping these because I ran out of cropper hoppers. I'm just keeping these in the folders that you get from American Crafts. When you buy a thing of cardstock, it comes in this little, like you pull the tab off of it and then you can just store your cardstock in it. And it looks like that. Next we have all of my pretty sorted cardstock. These, as I mentioned, are all from kit clubs that I've belonged to. I haven't really bought cardstock. And I mean, I buy it because you pay for it with your kit, but I don't typically buy cardstock as a purchase. Then I have a set of this Tim and Beck. So the last time I showed this, I got a couple of questions about it. So let me show it in a little bit more detail this time. So this is a collection from Tim and Beck, which are the people behind Sassafras. And it is a set of tone-on-tone cardstock options. They have one shade of green on one side and then another shade of green on the other side. And I'm going to do a little flip through here for you if you can see this. So there's different shades. There's two of each color. Light purple and dark purple, light brown and more of a cream, dark blue and light blue, navy blue and craft. And they're not only tone on tone, but they also have like interesting little things on them. Each one has a different little interesting print on it somewhere, and like, you know, lines on it, and it's distressed looking. So I really love this set. I don't use it very much. I'm a little bit hoarding it because I don't want to run out. I don't know if they still make it. I bought it at Studio Calico, and I don't know if you can still get any. So check out Studio Calico and see if they have it. It's Tim and Beck, and it is called, what is it called? Tim and Beck Color Theory. Yeah, it doesn't say the collection or anything. Then I have some Lawn Fawn tone on tone, like some of their polka dot paper and bokeh paper that I use mostly for cards. And then I have some of this Swiss dot paper, which is a cardstock that has a dot texture built into it, and it looks like a tone on tone. I think that is made by Basil. So I'm going to skip over this one because it's empty. It's just where I'm going to keep my recent paper buys that I haven't sorted yet. Next, I have all of my Stampin' Up collections, which I don't have many of. They're stored in 12 by 12 paper page protectors with the little tabs at the... Oops, you can't see that. There you go. With the little tabs at the bottom that just tell me which is which. Then I have some art paper. So this is paper that I'm pretty sure I'm not going to scrapbook with, but I still like it enough that I might use it on an art journal page or something like that. I tend to have a bit of a different style or taste for art journal pages than I have for scrapbooking pages, so I keep, these are things that are sort of not really my scrapbooking style, but I might use it on an art journal page. Then these are all older collections. So I have here, well, this is Urban Luxe from Basic Grey, which is a new collection, but I put it down here to be beside my other Basic Grey. I have Basic Grey Grand Bazaar. I have Basic Grey Miscellaneous. So this is all mostly paper that was on sale. I find that Basic Grey paper tends to go on sale. It doesn't sell out, so if you're at a local scrapbook store, you can usually pick up a couple pieces of it for pretty cheap. I have the Granola collection, which I think that one was very, very, very cheap. I think it was at Michael's or something. And then I have Basic Grey Olivia, which I have in this little folder. So this is another way to store collections, I guess, if you're looking for a way to contain it and have it like all able to pull it out at the same time. This is a pocket from Creative Memories. I'm pretty sure that I showed it on the segment where I was showing you how I made my these things that you see up here. Anyhow, I keep Olivia in here. I really like the color scheme. It's so bright and colorful yet distressed. I really like that. So I just keep the Olivia collection. I've only got a little bit of it left, so it fits quite nicely in this Creative Memories pocket right here. Then I have some old October Afternoon. I basically just have an 8x8 paper pad. I have Fly a Kite. And then I have some old Sassafras stuff here. Not too much, just a little bit. And then I have Amy Tan. So I put Amy Tan's packet, original collection. There might be a bit of cut and paste in here too, but it's mostly just her Amy Tan Tangerine collection, like that very first one that she did. And the reason I put it separate, because I have Amy Tan, Yes Please, up here, and I was going to just throw all of Amy Tangerine's work all together, because her colors and her designs tend to really coordinate from one collection to another, and you can really mix and match and use them together. However, this collection has very distinct color scheme that is different from the others. There's a lot of this orangey wood and lots of this limey, like a dark lime. It's not like a vibrant lime, and lots of oranges in this collection. And so for that reason, I sometimes reach for this specifically. So I thought I'd leave it separate. Oh, we're almost done. Almost done. All right, so here we are together on the floor. In this one, I just keep those chipboard pieces from boxes that I get in the mail, and very, very old Studio Calico kit bags, because I used to scrap a lot with paper bags. A lot. Like, I used to use paper bags on almost every layout as one of my layers. So I don't do that much anymore, but I'm ready to kind of come back to it. I've got some paper bags in the wings. So here I have transparency film. I have a package of inkjet and a package for laser printers. The inkjet ones are great for doing printables like labels and stuff and then cutting them out. And the laser printer ones are more clear, and so I use these for windows on shaker cards and for stamping a little bit on. Then I have some Shrink-a-Dink and some full sheet labels that I sometimes print on too. I've got some carbon paper and some palette paper and some tracing paper. Then I have two empty places right here. Actually, most of it is all empty from here on in. So empty, empty. These are those storage things that you can get from Michael's. I just keep a couple of them here in case I need to reach for them. Most of them I keep in my back closet. Then I have the I Am collection, which I didn't put into, like, I didn't make a divider for it because I'm going to use it one more time. I have a mini album that I'm planning to make. I'm going to use it one more time, and then it's just going into my stash, meaning these papers, whatever papers are left over, are going to be color sorted and put in with my colors. So I'll never need an I Am tab because that's going to be gone soon one way or another. A couple of these Studio Calico kit bags. And then this is cheap, inexpensive, colored cardstock from Michael's that that I use for household projects and with the kids. So that is my paper storage. It's all done. Thanks so much for watching and have a really great scrappy week.